My name is Sheila. This story is around 13 years old, when I had just moved to a new town for a job opportunity, and I was looking for a cheap apartment to rent. I found one online that seemed perfect, spacious, furnished, and affordable. The landlord said it was available immediately, and I didn't have to sign a lease. He just asked me to pay the rent in cash every month. I thought I had hit the jackpot. I moved in the next day, and everything seemed fine at first. The apartment was clean and cozy, and the neighbors were friendly. I unpacked my belongings and settled in. I was excited to start my new life. The first night, however, I had trouble sleeping. I heard strange noises coming from the walls, like scratching, tapping, and whispering. I tried to ignore them, thinking it was just the pipes or the wind, but they got louder and louder, until I couldn't take it anymore. I got up and turned on the lights, hoping to scare away whatever was making the noises. But as soon as I did, the noises stopped. I looked around, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I shrugged it off and went back to bed. The next night, the same thing happened. The noises started as soon as I turned off the lights, and they stopped as soon as I turned them on. I was getting annoyed and scared. I wondered if someone was playing a prank on me, or if the apartment was haunted. I decided to call the landlord and ask him about it. He answered the phone and sounded surprised to hear from me. I told him about the noises and asked him if he knew what was causing them. He paused for a moment and then said in a low voice, "Oh, you heard them too." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean?" I asked. He sighed and said, "Look, I'm sorry I didn't tell you this before, but the apartment has a history. A few years ago, a young woman lived there, and she was murdered by her boyfriend. He stabbed her to death in the bedroom, and then killed himself. The police said it was a crime of passion, but some people say it was something else, something evil." I gasped and felt my heart pounding. "Are you serious?" I asked. He said, "Yes, I'm afraid so. And ever since then, the apartment has been haunted by their spirits. They make noises at night, trying to communicate with the living, or maybe they're trying to warn them. I don't know. I've tried to get rid of them, but nothing works, it seems." I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I felt like I was in a nightmare. I asked him, "Why didn't you tell me this before? Why did you let me move in?" He said, "I'm sorry, I really am. But I needed the money, and you seemed like a nice person. I thought they might have gone, or will never bother you, or maybe you could handle it." I hung up the phone and threw it across the room. I was furious and terrified. I wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. I grabbed my suitcase and ran to the door. But as soon as I touched the knob, the noises started again, only this time, they were louder and angrier than ever. I heard screaming, crying, and laughing. I heard words that I couldn't understand, but I knew they were curses and threats. I heard the sound of metal scraping against metal, and I realized it was the sound of a knife. I felt a surge of adrenaline and fear. I knew I had to escape. I pushed the door open and ran down the stairs. I didn't care if anyone saw me or heard me. I just wanted to get away from them. I reached the street and hailed a cab. I told the driver to take me to the nearest motel. I didn't look back. I spent the night in a shabby room, trembling and crying. I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing their voices in my head. I wondered if they would follow me, or if they would stay in the apartment. I wondered if they would ever find peace, or if they would haunt the place forever. I wondered if I had done something wrong, or if I was just unlucky. The next morning, I called the landlord and demanded a refund. I told him I was leaving and never coming back. He sounded scared and guilty. He said he was sorry and that he would send me the money. He asked me not to tell anyone about what happened. He said he hoped I was okay. I hung up and packed my things. I checked out of the motel and took a bus to the airport. I decided to go back to my hometown and look for another job. I decided to forget about the apartment and the ghosts. I decided to start over, but I never did.